वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्वी नावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युमामृतङ्गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Good afternoon. If you have a prayer book with you, please see page number 112. The last quote in the page. The uplift of the women, the awakening of the masses must come first, and then only can any real good come about for the country, for India. It is only in the homes of educated and pious mothers that great men are born. Here men means human beings, great men and women. Today's my topic is Happy Mother, Healthy Child. Perhaps you know in India, today around 3.7 million children are being born with being born prematurely. 3.7 million children are preterm babies are being born in this country. Out of 27 million births, 2 million children are being born with birth defects, some kind of congenital disorder. So it's not a small number. If you just reflect why it is happening, primarily it is because of maternal stress. Somewhere the mother actually is undergoing stress. That stress is being transmitted to the child. That's why child is being born preterm. A preterm baby means, a baby who is born before 37 weeks of gestation. So if the child is born with some kind of defect like that, you cannot undo the effect of it. Practically, it is irreversible. You can prolong the life of the baby, but you can't enhance the quality of life of the baby, by no means. Humanity is paying a heavy price because of this. So we are trying to generate awareness. So what thought the mother generates, what emotion the mother generates particularly, impacts the baby. If it's a positive thought and positive emotion, the baby, will be born healthy. If it is a negative thought and negative emotion, that will impact the baby in a negative way. So we are taking things actually for granted, In human beings, everything has to be done consciously. We say human being. In animals, they cannot do things consciously. But when you do something as human beings, we need to do things consciously. Why are we doing the thing that we are doing? So there are so many reasons for this, apart from maternal stress, nutritional factors, genetic factors, environmental factors. You have heard the story of Prahalada, story of Abhimanyu. Prahalada's parents were asuras, demons, Hiranyakashipu and Lilavati. So when Lilavati was carrying, when she had Prahalada in her womb, she happened to spend her time with Narada Maharshi. Narada Maharshi went on instructing about the Lord, went on narrating the stories of God to her. Because she was a demonical woman, she would doze off, she would not listen to those things. But the baby in her womb was so sensitive, it heard everything. And then became a Bhagavathutthama. The greatest devotee of the Lord was born of an Asuric woman. So what our ancestors want to tell us is this. It is not genetics, it is epigenetics. The modern doctors are calling it as epigenetics. It is the environment that influences the baby more than the genetics of the parents. Genetics only account for 15%. 85% it is the environment. So today, for various reasons, after marriage, because you are not even pondering what for marriage is, what marriage is as an institution, how I have to conduct myself, what is my responsibility. When you enter into wedlock, both girls and boys, men and women are entering it with great expectations. Your expectations won't be fulfilled because you don't even know what is marriage. Marriage is a great sacrifice. Fundamentally, marriage is a sacrifice. That means you have prepared yourself for that sacrifice. Somebody asked Vivekananda in the West, because Swamiji was speaking this Vedanta, they thought actually he was only speaking renunciation. And Swamiji, then should we not go for marriage? Then there is no happiness in married life. The Swamiji says, yes, Alberta. A woman by name Albert asked this. Yes, there is, provided you enter into it as a sacrifice. What you have to sacrifice there? You have to sacrifice your little and limited individuality. Okay? Your petty I that you have to drop. And you should be able to sacrifice your all for the sake of your spouse. When you have that kind of spirit of sacrifice, you enter into marriage, then that marriage relationships will blossom into an ideal relationship. When both the parents are happy and joyful, when there is that right understanding, when there is that camaraderie and bonhomie, then a great life will happen in that family. If there is mutual discord, there constant quarrel or fighting happening between the would-be parents, then you can't expect a great life to happen in that family, right? It will impact the baby in a negative way. So you have to wait. If you are not actually have understood each other well, and that right kind of relationship has not begun in your family, and you have to wait. You should not immediately go for children. So you watch today any video, first thing that opens up is this: an advertisement comes. Some parent actually asking for some financial help. My child is born with some birth defect, and its medical treatment costs this much. Kindly help us. So it's on a pandemic scale now today. If you just look at it, so many children being born with birth defects. Why all this is happening? That's why I'm saying that everything that you do, you must do consciously at a human level. And you're going for marriage, why I'm going for marriage, what I expect of marriage, what are my responsibilities, am I prepared for that? If it is a sacrifice, am I prepared for that sacrifice? Again, afterwards, when you want to become parents, when you want to become a father, a mother, what kind of parent I want to become, what kind of father I want to become, what kind of baby I want to bring into my life. I want to have a great baby, a great life, a smart kid, a well-behaved child. So what I have to do for that? Consciously, you have to do. When you resolve that I have to have a great baby, then you understand what you have to do. You have to imbibe the spiritual culture. You have to pray, you have to meditate, you have to repeat God's name. When you make yourself pious, that's what Swami is saying. It's only in the homes of educated and pious mothers that great men and women are born. Otherwise, parenting, people think that it begins after the birth of the child. No, no, no. Parenting begins only when the child is growing in the womb of the mother. At that time, if the right impetus is given to the child, right samskar is given to the child, a great life will happen. For example, a person like Vivekananda had said, my mother and father prayed to the Lord for 2 years before they brought me into the world. So not because he went to school, not because he went to college, actually he had become such a genius. He was a born genius, a born leader, a born lion. So all that happens, 90% happens only in the womb of the mother. So what kind of impulses she receives at that point of time matters so much for the baby. But as modern mothers, these generation mothers, most of them, they do not know. They conduct themselves unconsciously, and afterwards they regret. Most of the times, the damage has already been done, and it is irreversible. So don't think actually it's going to happen only in our neighbor's family. It won't happen in my family. So you need to be very alert. So next we'll go for marriage, and after job first, and then marriage, then children. So be aware of it and be conscious of it. Thank you. Have a nice afternoon.